down the team names unless these guys are listening to the audio and want to jump on the stream and jump in with the team name. All I have to do is say I'm on team 1 or team 2, and this is what I think the team name should be. I usually take the funniest team name and roll with it. So I'm really wondering if I can get you. Like, I'm gonna try. Oh, we're jumping back and forth. I see Snowy now. Do you have a webcam?
I do. My laptop, which is actually more powerful than my desktop right now. So yeah, I have a webcam that can stream. So yeah, I can do that.
Do you want to turn it on? Because I could probably get you onto the actual stream with it if you wanted to try it out tonight.
My laptop's dead right now.
Oh, okay.
So I had to let it charge.
That's fine. We'll do it another night. But I think you see where usually my webcam is on the right-hand side. I think yours would fit perfectly on the left-hand side because I don't really have something on the left-hand side at the moment. So 5 guys, 1 bush. I'm not a huge fan of crude team names, but that name is just on the edge of not being that crude, so we'll let it slide.
Yeah.
Like the last teams, stick it and take it were what I actually was using, but they said their team names were stick it out, take it in or something, which is a little bit too crude for me personally. I'm like, oh, come on a little bit. So I just kind of blended the lines a little bit. I was just like, stick it and take it. I like it. We'll roll with it. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead and run through the picks and bans real fast and just give the viewers explanation as to why they're good picks and bans for the different teams.
Okay. Alright, so we have on blue team right now, the first ban is Rengar. He's actually, from what I've seen from tournaments that I've watched and everything else like that I've played in, Rengar is actually a really powerful top player. If you get ahead of the person early, you're just going to shut down that lane and there's nothing people can do about it. So that's a really good choice for top lane for this team. Caston, he has that mobility once he's level 6. He can jump across the map, take you out, you'll never know he was there, and get out of there. Morgana is a great pick, especially if they play her support, because she can keep the ADC alive, keep them stopped in the tracks, make sure that your ADC gets ahead of them. So I see those picks a lot in ranked games and casts I've seen. Leona's another high one. Due to her stuns, especially with her ult, and if jumps in there with their sword and just stuns you with the shield again, there's nothing you can do against her pretty much. Evelyn, that stealth gets me every time. I've jungled against her, I can't beat her. So I pretty much ban her if I'm going to be jungling. And it's a good pick on everybody else because I've seen her actually in Gambit Gaming. I've watched them play some of their matches, and Evelyn's pretty much always banned. Lee Sin, just like Rengar, he's a strong person.
Yeah, Lee Sin's a strong person.
Yes.
He has that mobility kit,
sorry,
which gets him in and out.
I got a message at that exact
Nope,
moment.
not a problem. So that's another thing.
Super.
I was going to say real fast is when I jump in like that, just let me take over and don't worry about apologizing, especially if this is like a tournament thing, is if I just take over, let it roll. Don't worry. There's no problems at all with you pausing. I'm also going to jump in here as understand that this game, while it will be shoutcasted, will also be a little bit of a learning curve for Ormast. So I will be interrupting him as well as just generally filling in information. So you guys who are the viewers who are regularly used to just basic shoutcasting, we're going to be doing it a little bit differently this time as we're giving Ormast a first chance. You see here we're getting pulled into like 7 picks now, or 6 picks. So you kind of just, if you're still in the middle of those picks or the bans out and you're still like, I got like 2 more bans to go, let me just rush through. Everyone knows the power of Evelyn, and Lee Sin can get everywhere and kill everyone. So now we're back into the the picks. So just kind of fill in a little if things are getting late. So that being said, let me run over real fast. Soraka picked up by Sarek, really powerful. We saw the power in the last game as well. The other team had Leona, but they actually banned out Leona. The teams have changed a little bit. We got some different players in here from last game, but you saw the power of Leona in the last game. That's the thing there, Ormast, is reference other games. If you were watching the last game, which I'm not sure you were, but if you are casting multiple games, and a Leona is played in one game and then banned out the next, you can be like, well, they saw the power of Leona in the last game and they banned her out because of all that CC, right, which kind of won that team the game, or et cetera, et cetera. So, but anyway, so running through, go ahead and run through, actually, I'm going to run through blue team's picks real fast, and that way you can run through purple. Well, we're already at like 18 seconds. We'll let the time kind of calm down. So team 2, Meta Frackers. Awesome. That is a great team name. I love it. Team Meta Frackers. Great way to kind of hit the crudity just a hair, but not be too crude, so that we're not dealing with, if a kid got on here, it's not gonna be a problem. So okay, we're in that 3-minute period of time. We're gonna run through everyone real fast. I'm gonna pick blue team. He's gonna go with team meta Frackers. So for team five guys, one bush. Sorry. Sarek on the Soraka support in that bottom lane. We saw the power of Soraka last game, which did win her team the game. Super heals in that bottom lane. But she's going to be with a different ADC, Konoha Len on the Varus in the bottom lane ADC. Spartan 324 with the jungle Elise. Used a lot in the LCS, but still super powerful. The Bullfrog and the very rare but not often seen Shen in the top lane. We'll see if that comes through this game and helps him out, as that has not been played since Season 2, I believe. And then you went to Jared on the always super strong Riven in the mid lane. Very rarely is Riven played in the mid lane, but we see her in ranked every now and then. Very strong against certain champions, which Ormass is going to go through for Team Meta Frackers.
Alright, we've got AH Oscillate on Tristana, who's actually a really good ADC and great counter to Varus right there. We got Rise up top. He's actually a great top laner. He used to be mid lane, I believe, in Season 1 and Season 2, but switched to top. Yasuo is super strong. He actually can go anywhere he wants to go and be viable. We got someone who has great heals, great speeds, has slows and everything, and can keep you alive down on bottom, and it's going to good counter against Soraka, but Soraka can bring it against her. And we got Maokai in the jungle. He's a fierce one to take on, so it's going to be super exciting watching a Maokai against an Elise.
Last thing, you did really good, but don't forget to throw in the names. Is Salty Tree on the Maokai in the jungle, and Mr. Johnson 3601 on the Sona in the bottom lane. I think you did it for Ocelot and Demi Loki, but not sure about D Phelps 33 on that Yasuo in the mid lane, but they could switch it up. Ryze is often played in the top lane right now, but he is still a viable mid lane as well. So it could be that they're switching it around. It's going to be Ryze in the mid lane and Yasuo in the top lane. Which do you think that they're going to actually go this game?
Well, looking at top, I don't even say Ryze will be going top this game.
Ryze is particularly good against a Shen?
Typically, he can actually keep Shen off of him from his range. He also can summon on spot so he can't get his lifesteal on him and things like that. So you can keep him away. Yasuo, I would see him going down by Shen pretty quickly, because Shen can pretty much stomp any ADC if he really wants to, and if this guy's good with him, he'll do just that.
Awesome. And then last but not least, which team do you think will actually win? I usually do a little bit of a not really voting, but a prediction. There we go. Which team do you predict will actually take the win, and why?
For that one, it's going to be a tough one. They both have great teams. But honestly, Team Mudafracker, I believe they'll take this one. Mainly if they actually have good team skills together, can get that Maokai anywhere they want him to go, they pretty much can wreck anybody they need to.
I would actually agree with you. I don't normally agree with people, just to kind of change it up, but Team Meta Frackers does have some excellent power, especially with that Maokai. We've seen Maokai, if you guys are watching the LCS Championships, do extremely well against so many different teams. It's one of those now basic champions it's almost hard not to take because of that AoE, magic resist, and the armor as well for the entire team, on top of, once you get to the late game scaling, so many champions are using so many abilities, he can just constantly heal every single time that he auto attacks. So if you play him well, you can pretty much keep yourself full health just off of those heals. So a couple of amazing skins here coming out. That's another thing that I almost always point out is, a lot of players really like to show off skins. That's one of the reasons why they play certain champions. And the other, I'm sure you've seen enough of my stream to know that I make the joke that if you have great skins, you have great wins. Is
right,
that,
I have heard that.
Okay, so you got the skill with the skin. And so we've got the Bullfrog on the Surgeon Shen, and you went to Jared with the Redeemed Riven. And we're actually jumping straight into game. I think my mouse already changed over, so we should be jumping in game in a second here. But Ocelot on the right, girl Tristana. However, that does mean that I think it is 5 guys, 1 bush has actually a slightly better chance of winning because they have 2 skins. They won the skin war.
Yes, they did.
Switching over to in-game. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I'm just looking at what people are buying right here, and pretty much a standard, everybody's going for the recommended like normal. So we got Soraka versus Sona bottom, which is going to be a great matchup, especially if they can keep their ADCs alive. Varus versus Tristana. And then mid, we have... I still don't know who's going to be mid on top, so it's going to either be Yasuo or Ryze. So looks like actually Yasuo's going mid.
So it will be that Yasuo. You did a good job of making that guess. It's going to be that Yasuo mid lane. I'm very interested in seeing this Maokai in the jungle. Usually Maokai in the LCS at least is played in that top lane role, but the jungle could be extremely strong with that snaring gank.
Yes, actually. I haven't seen him in a while in a lot of ranked games also. So I'm pretty excited for this one. I haven't seen him. Hopefully this guy does great on him because I actually used to play him in Season 3 quite a bit. So I'll be watching this guy in jungle.
It'll be interesting, just as a side note, to see the difference between our knowledge, because I actually also main support mid lane and top lane. Support over everything else, but if I can't play support, I try to play mid or top lane. But you also do like support and jungle, so we're both definitely support knowledgeable. But the thing with support that also comes is that you know your ADCs well, because you have to know their strengths and weaknesses, and so interesting thing there. But we've got a red buff start for blue team. We've got a blue buff start for Salty Tree as well, which means both of these jungles will actually hit the top lane at about the same time if they can jungle at the same speed.
Alright, number one.
So just really fast to make sure that things are correct, you are currently watching Elise, and then just jumped over to watching Salty Tree finish off blue buff.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So we are saying the same thing, which is the way to go. So what do you think about this Riven versus Yasuo in the mid lane?
This is actually pretty interesting. I see a lot of top lane, but they do play differently mid lane, especially with their builds. Honestly, my pick's on Yasuo. If he builds him right and goes, he can pretty much take out Riven pretty easily and shut her down. Especially if this Naoki can actually get in there, stop her also. It'll be a killer combo mid.
Yeah, she got a nice little bit of stun harass off on him. However, his range is going to make him a little bit more viable. Which do you think is a little bit easier to escape ganks, though? Because the mid lane is a little bit more viable for ganks because somebody can jump in from either one of those bushes. Do you think either one is a little bit better at escaping ganks if they come their way?
On that one, I actually would go with Riven. Riven can actually dash 3 times, and Yasuo, he can dash to the minions also. But what's the difference is she can bounce any which way he wants to, and a minion has to be there, or someone has to be there for them to jump to. So I'll give it to Riven on this one.
Riven a little bit better to escape in that mid lane. We do see both of those junglers have made it to their top lane. Riven getting a little bit more harassed with that stun, however not getting a lot of damage though. So Yasuo continuing to go kind of back and forth. What do you... Oh, we got Elise now coming in. She's going to actually find Maokai right there. Maokai actually got the snare. I don't know why the camera... There we go, jumping over. Both of them do have the double buffs finished. But the camera didn't jump. The camera's actually mostly focused on who's dealing the most damage at one single point in time, and that's who they focus on. So it really depends. If Varus is doing more damage even to minions in this bottom lane than per se the one hit from Maokai on Elise, even though that is higher action, the camera actually does jump over. So sometimes I take control of the camera, but not often. In cases like this, though, oh gosh, I just about took control over the camera, but didn't, as Maokai is going to back off from that top lane. So in the meantime, while no one's really ganking too hard yet, tell us a little bit about this bottom lane matchup.
Alright, this bottom lane matchup, as you can see, let me get to the ADCs real fast. They're pretty much actually neck and neck on their farm right now. So the big thing is going to be on the supports here. If they can keep their ADCs up front with their mana and everything going, it can pull away pretty much on that one. I would give it to Tristana if she actually gets a little bit more aggressive, because I've seen her jump in, destroy a Varus, and jump right back out. So right now it's 50-50 on bottom, honestly, to me.
Yeah, with both of those being very passive healing champions, the Soraka and Sona, it's going to be a very farm-heavy bottom lane there. They're just going to go back and forth. A little bit of action here in the mid lane. UJR does have the shield. However, going to get that knockup from the tornado. That's how they ignite burning. Both flashes burn. However, D. Phelps actually has to flash out of that one, or I guess he flashed in and then walked away from that, as the tower did get a shot off Maokai just to the side in the jungle, waiting to see if Riven's going to go back in, but it does look like she is going to recall from that as they continue their action in the mid lane. Both of them are extremely low health, though, so Riven decided to stick around.
Up top, actually, look at
Yeah, Bullfrog.
Ryze actually stunned Shen, got a hit off, and knocked it down pretty well. If Shen stays in this lane, he could be in trouble if he keeps on getting closer.
Indeed. There's actually a snare that Rise did, but still got a lot of damage. There's that flash, though. Will it be enough? He gets the bounce back and forth from his E, and that's going to be enough to grab first blood in that top lane. No contestants, as Maokai actually also attempted to gank in the mid lane, but did not successfully get a grab onto Jared, that Riven, and so nothing really happened. However, now he's grabbing the Wraiths away from Elise. She does have that pink ward, but is now headed towards the mid lane. She's looking to see if she can get a jump onto Yasuo, a piece of that as well. So it pings back and forth in the mid lane. Riven actually recalling once again. We'll see if she decides to go through with it or not as the camera continues to focus on this bottom lane. Just the damage that these ADCs are putting out back and forth is enough to take control of the camera this game. But there we go. Riven still not back. Elise coming in from the sideline. She's got a bit of damage. Does misses the cocoon though. DP Phelps. She did get the propel up. There we go. Sometimes my brain fizzes out a little bit. She got the propel up, so she was safe from the tower and backed off completely, and that means Yasuo is still alive. Here, what we're going to do is go ahead and say some things. I'm going to play with the stream a little bit.
Alright. Alright, so up top, they're pretty much neck and neck right now. Rise has the upper hand with actually getting the first blood, so that's going to be good on him. We'll see how that ends up. Bottom's kind of just sitting back and farming right now, honestly. Until they get their farm, there's not really much they can do.
See, whoop, that's not what I want.
Alright, we got a Maokai coming down bottom to help out bottom. Here he goes. Alright, he got Varus. There's actually a snare right there. Here goes just trying to jump in on Varus. Sona keeping them up, and there's Ocelot. A.H. Ocelot getting the kill on their ADC bottom.
Nice job. Yeah, you can actually go ahead and paraphrase at certain times and just be like, yo, Ocelot in that bottom lane, getting a nice jump from that Tristana. You can see her power finishing off the Varus, and then moving on to get a little bit of damage onto Soraka, but not quite in range and not interested in tower diving. They're going to back off from that, but that is now 2 kills over to Meta Frackers, who are doing quite well, as was predicted by our main man, Ormast, who's joining us this time for a... I just hear Ormast in the background going, ooh. Ormast joining us for an attempt at duo casting, so huge props to him for giving it a go. It is a very difficult thing to actually do this kind of stuff, especially when you've been watching the stream a good bit, so you're kind of nervous about jumping on, having, 20-some people hear you. So
kind of enjoying it at the same time. It's actually a rush, and here goes Maokai coming at the river right there, stopping right in front of the turret. Hope he also can get in there with his tornado and actually knock up and if he gets the ultimate off on him.
So
but it's actually really nice because I've listened to you a lot and I'm actually really happy to be on here. Once I heard you say that you want someone to possibly duo cast with you, I was super excited, so I had to send you a message. And it's good to actually talk to you because I actually like watching your streams.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. So thank you for jumping on here. Hey, cutie yourself, Keys Ray, saying what's up. Whoa, I don't know. Did that show? Oh, no, they didn't see it. Okay, it was... Oh, you know what? You know what? My friend who's over here hanging out actually gave me the middle finger, so I went to give him the middle finger back. Wait, hold on a second. Okay, just some heals are going back and forth in that bottom lane. Not too much action. A nice ult from Varus, though, is actually going to put both of them together. Ocelot taking a lot of damage, will be enough to finish it off, and actually Varus just picks up. He has very little health, though. Sona with enough poke to get it back, but no, he has the barrier, and that is actually what kept him alive. As Sona tried to get some poke on. Now Spartan is in a little bit of trouble. He's going to have to back off. His 3 members of Meta Fracker are going to find him, but they're just going to back off. The escape from Elise just a little bit too strong. As I was trying to say, though, rudely interrupted by these incredible gamers in their crazy game, I was trying to give the middle finger back to my friend who's here. However, it was actually, as I lifted up my hand and giving the middle finger, it was just off of the camera so that nobody on the camera could actually see. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Except that because of the light, it cast a shadow on the wall. So you could see my hand and middle finger shadowed on the wall, which is like how you'd see it in a crazy movie. As Jared is very low health, but he finishes off Yasuo in the mid lane. Salty Tree being taken very low health. Gets the flash over the wall. The follow-up from Elise trying to get the... forgot the name of it again, but leaping up in the air, trying to jump on him, but not close enough, and he's going to be able to walk away from that. He's a tree, so he's successful at leaping. As Demi Loki in that top lane... Go ahead.
And then Rise... Alright, so right then and there, like, that was actually really good on Rise. They actually kept on poking Shen up top. What I like about that there, actually Rise winning for it, but unfortunately got taken out by the turret at the same time, giving Shen the kill also.
Great job from Shen, the bullfrog in that top lane, baiting him under the tower long enough that he actually went down as well. But I had to laugh at your. He was, and then he's, oh! You were waiting for me to take over and never fully did because I was really terribly trying to give it over to you because you were doing a great job actually paying more attention to the game than I am at the moment. And so that was on my shoulders. But great job, though. You're learning really fast, and I love having you on here. You're an awesome guy. So anyway, go ahead. Take it over.
All right. See what's going on here. I had to switch out of my screen.
Oh, okay. No, then I'm going to jump in here and say, Ocelot actually tried to get her E onto Varus as Varus was backing, though, so it's traveling in mid-air. That bleed does do damage effect, which, as he's recalling, would stop him from backing. However, while it's flying through the air, it still hasn't done any damage to him, which actually meant that he was able to get the recall all the way back. However, while he recalled, she then actually, the shot from her E followed him all the way back to the base. So it was rather funny to catch on stream. But anyway, go ahead.
Alright, we just had a little bit of good action in the mid going on. We had Lise try to gank Yasuo's mid and then actually blocked it with the wind wall. So we actually had some pretty good action going on in mid earlier.
Yeah, I interrupt sometimes, so keep you guys updated. So, yeah, Salty Tree on that Maokai doing a nice job defending the mid lane, keeping Riven from being able to push in. Riven is a great pusher. She does have a lot of damage and is great at escaping, but is actually a little bit of a change up here. We see Yasuo now in the top lane, getting a little bit of damage onto Shen. It looks like Ryza decided to take over the mid lane. Salty Tree, though, however, going to be caught out. A nice cocoon from Spartan's going to put him at low health, and you went to Jared with that Riven ultimate, enough to finish him off. Sorry, jumping in from one action thing to another. What do you think about the change-up from Yasuo and Ryze changing up their lanes?
It could be smart, but like I said earlier, Shen can actually take out Yasuo. As you can see up top, Yasuo himself actually was low health earlier. He's beginning to low health, but look at Shen. Shen still has pretty much a little bit more health than he does, so Shen can take it on.
Nice stun though from Sona. Sorry, jumping in here. Nice stun from Sona, actually stopping both blue teams underneath the tower from actually finishing it off, forcing the flash from Varus. So he actually does not have his flash anymore. He went very low health. However, Soraka continuing to heal him up has put his health back up there to continue to kind of slow push this bottom lane. But great job from Sona defending the tower for a little bit. But it might go down as they push in once again. Oh, the damage! That one Q from Varus, super strong, just cutting through both Sona and Tristana's health. Like, it is nothing. You there?
I'm still here. I'm just making sure I actually watch the different parts of the games because I'm reading the chat.
Oh, okay.
How Snowy actually says he's actually on the call with us, but he's keeping super quiet, just listening to what we're saying. So, let's catch up on that. So
yeah,
that's gotta look back and forth.
Not a problem, not a problem. I generally am on the quieter parts. I'll jump over to the chat, but I try to keep an eye back and forth. However, that's blue team gonna find out Salty Tree in the jungle here. He is kind of about half health there, but it was actually Demi Loki in the mid lane having to flash out as both the Elise and Riven did try to engage on him. He gets a nice snare onto you and Jarrett, knocking his health down a little bit, but Salty Tree going in. He's got the help from Ocelot. Gonna get a nice knockback with the ultimate onto Kohan, and as they turn around, they finish off the kill on Varus. Ryze himself going down underneath the tower, but the tower shot from, the tower shot finishing off Elise underneath the turret. Great job there as she tower dove a little bit too hard, and Ryze was able to grab that kill thanks to the help from your friendly neighborhood tower.
We got 4 people mid pushing mid. Hopefully they get that turret taken down, help them out, get some towers on their side. And then we got Riven pushing bottom, and they're just leaving her alone. So that could be a very dangerous move, leaving Riven on bottom. As you see, she pushes pretty fast and pretty hard. So now she's returned back to base, getting out of harm's way.
Yep, they were able to take that mid lane. Team Beta Frackers picking up that mid lane tower, doing a nice job of that. However, that did allow both side lanes to push a little bit. However, that didn't really help out too much for 5 guys 1 bush. They weren't able to get any towers, just a little bit of farm before backing out. But now 5 kills to 5, 15 minutes into the game. This game is pretty even. 5 guys 1 bush, just a little bit of hair in the head in gold, about 1,700 gold. However, that's not a whole lot when it gets towards the late game. I'm being very quiet, says Snowy Devil. Shh, we hunt and rabbit. We be very, very quiet. Pink ward coming out there from Five Guys One Bush, right there by the blue, the river in that top lane. But we see Elise making her way over towards the red buff. But no, it's actually you went to Jared, jumping on a Demi Loki, doing a lot of damage. The Ignite is down. The burst from Riven so strong.
We got Elise jumping on Salty Tree right now. Actually, he's getting away.
He's a tree, so he can leaf pretty quickly.
Yes, he can. He can move pretty fast when he needs to.
These two mid laners, jungle is going to go back and forth. We're playing a little bit of ARAM here as they're just defending their mid lanes. But there's actually, Ryze went down and Riven just decided to go ahead and back buy some pretty items with her. Tell us a little bit about the items that these champions are building.
Alright, so if you look at, well, all Soraka has right now is actually the Sight Stone right there. She's fully upgraded to give her a little more health and a little bit more durability to stay in the lane for him. But then you got on the other side, you got their Sona now. She doesn't have full item yet, so that's good on Soraka for getting that full Sight Stone. Make sure she has sights for her ADC. We got Bloodthirster and Varus already. That's actually a good item to get for him to keep him alive. As you can see, it puts that shield around.
Yeah, he gets a nice ult on that's going to slow down Sona. However, Spartan is going to be snared by Salty Tree, just coming in to try to hold off blue team as Varus super strong, going to get off another one of those Qs, keeping them underneath the tower, not letting them engage.
And then on the other side, we got their Tristana with actually the BF sword and the pickaxe. She's still working on that IE, as everybody knows that she is very well needs. But up top, you actually see Yasuo just barely escape from Riven right up there, taking all that health away.
Yeah, Riven doing a nice job trying to get a gank onto the Yasuo, but with a nice dash flash, Yasuo is able to jump out of that. That is the power of Yasuo. It's so hard to lock down, especially if you don't get that stun off from the Riven. I'm kind of interested that, just as another side note here, is that we can't, unfortunately, logically slow the game down. Like, I can't do any slow motion fights because if I hit slow, there's no way for you to know exactly when I'm hitting slow on the fight. And so, and then I don't really have any way to do an instant replay unless, oh, you know what we could do? I'm wondering if I do an instant slow breakdown of a fight, you continue to watch it normal time, and then I simply speed up to normal time when we go back normally.
That actually might work, so that way I can actually go over the items for everybody else, let them know what everybody's still building. And then you can actually show them one of the greater fights that we have actually seen in this so far. Yeah, Bullfrog been taking low health, but Riven was waiting just in the side bushes. She's got a lot of damage. There's that ultimate. We're going to do some nice job to Salty Tree, and DP helps on the Yasuo. However, the Windwall did a nice job of keeping away some of the damage, but now in that bottom lane, Ryze been taking very low health. Does he have the damage? The barrier from Varus along with the health from Soraka going to keep him alive as Ryze, with that snare, knew that he was going to go down, just tried to turn around and finish off the Varus, but not quite doing enough damage to finish him off. We got Shen taking top towers, so they're actually getting some more minions out pushing. Then Shen actually takes Golem's away from Male K jungle. So making sure they get that, make sure he gets farm. So more items, more farm. Yeah, blue team taking dragon right now. Yeah, blue team they're picking up the first dragon of the game, which is actually at 19 minutes. Is a little bit late into this game to be grabbing the first dragon, but they were here. However, purple team now, they're ready for it. The nice ult from Varus going to finish off Elise, as well as that Sona with her ultimate going to be stopping Varus from escaping, as Tristana picks up that kill, using that constant leap to get close. Actually flashes to get even closer to Sarah. Look at the damage of those auto attacks, but Team Meta Frackers, they know that they do not want to tower dive this, playing it safe a little bit. They even out the kills, but they are still down by about 4k gold. Alright, continue back on the items what everybody's building. Junglers real fast, actually they both have full items right now for their jungles. Mel's getting the health and Lee's getting the AP that she needs so desperately in this match. You also got the boots completely with the Lee to actually get that speed on it that she needs. But Mayoki's still burning that armor to make sure he can last in those big team fights.
Tristana with the damage, just shutting down Soraka, as now you went to Jarrett, jumping in with the burst damage herself to finish off Soraka. So now it is AD versus AD. However, Tristana does have a little bit of range here. The damage, though, is just unbelievable. And Riven also has that Shen teleport coming in, keeping her alive with that shield. Does have the taunt, so Salty Tree was taunted, and now stunned again. But the KS, Varus coming in from the bottom, grabbing the kill across the map, saying, hey, I'm going to take that kill if you don't mind me. I am the ADC. That was hilarious. Bullfrog already teleported back into the top lane, had to teleport up, trying to stop Ryze, actually clearing minions just to try to keep Ryze off of the tower. Ryze's auto attack not doing a whole lot. However, the pulling back actually allowed Elise to come in, but missed the cocoon, and that means that Demi Loki should be able to walk away from that. There's the ping from blue team saying, don't even worry about chasing, just grab the minions and go ahead and back. I didn't know if you were going to jump on that in the bottom lane or if you were watching the chat, but pretty sure on the people on stream, so chat's pretty dead. It is true, it is true. Welcome to Cooper, welcome to Cooper. So, good guy Snowy coming in here, helping out his friend. But anyway, in that bottom lane, we saw the power of Riven, grabbing the stun onto you went to Jared, finishing off Sona before Sona could even realize it. Spartan coming in here trying to throw out one of those cocoons. Not going to land on Salty Tree. He does have his ultimate up just to kind of give himself a little bit of magic resistant armor against these two in the mid lane.
Alright, Varus keeps on still pushing mid lane. Make sure they get rid of that middle turret. Alright, the River Gym still the okay, and actually... Oh, you get saved by the wind wall by Yasuo. That's a nice save from her ultimate.
Yes, a nice wind wall from Yasuo is going to stop Riven's ultimate mid-shot, and that is actually going to keep Salty Tree pretty healthy. However, he gets a nice knockup from his tornado onto Varus. Not going to really engage on it yet, though, as Purple Team Meta Frackers are pretty down. They really want a team fight on their side of the map. What at the moment is what Team Meta Frackers really needs to do to be able to pull their way back into the game, as they are already down about 5k gold.
Oh yeah, Ryze getting sent up top, taken out, then actually Shannon keeps on going. And it's actually Soraka that takes the kill by just a basic auto attack.
The bananas OP Soraka picking up that kill in the top lane. Purple team not doing what they need to do. Metafrackers actually do need to stick together. A lot of members of Five Guys One Bush are actually really good picking off champions. They've got Elise with the cocoon. They've got Shen with the taunt. They've even got Riven for the stun and damage. They really are good at just picking off champions without a problem. So the team for Metafrackers really needs to be able to stick together. However, we've got a little bit of a base race here as Purple Team is pushing down the mid lane, Blue Team in that top lane. However, all 5 members of Blue Team up here, they're going to take out this turret of the inhibitor, and now grabbing the inhibitor. There's now 2 members of Purple Team back at the moment, but jumping on to Ryze, the damage is real. He's trying to stay healthy, but not going to be enough with the CC, and that is Ryze going down as well, and grabbing the inhibitor. Blue Team, Five Guys One Bush, really on the lead on this as they now push in underneath the turret as well. No, they're going to back out.
Alright, and actually Team Motherfrackers, they're still actually pushing mid. They're actually taking that middle. Oh, they're taking the first one right now, pretty much. So here it is. There goes. And we got actually the wind wall that blocks Soraka with anything that she's throwing at him right now. But they keep on pushing.
Yeah, Purple Team push and continue. And nice Sona ultimate is going to stop Riven and Shen as they're trying to engage. There's the flashes from both Tristana and Sona. Or sorry, Yasuo and Sona. He's going to go back in knowing that it's just trying to distract the rest of the team a little bit. Ocelot should have another jump available here using the rocket. Oh my gosh, the ultimate to knock Shen through the wall and actually into the jungle, which kept him from getting one of those taunts out. Sona used the, Talisman of Ascension to speed herself up. It didn't get it off on Tristana, so she was left a little bit behind, but Blue Team now engaging on Baron.
Yeah, Mega sit on the other side and Ryze just waiting right there. If they actually play this right, nope. Blue Team's gonna take it if they don't do anything smart. But if he saves the smite just right, he can take it from instantly.
Purple Team does have a ward over the wall, so they can see that there. However, a nice taunt from Shen's going to keep Maokai from actually jumping over the wall, and that is going to go over to Elise, who's going to grab it. The Baron being picked up. No, it's, yeah, Varus. There we go, picking it up. I'm sorry, I completely missaid that. I think it was actually a kill on Elise from the Maokai, who threw one of those saplings over the wall, and that plus the Baron damage was enough to finish off Elise, and he picked up that kill. But that is Baron on the 5 guys 1 bush now, as Frackers, having just recalled from the mid lane, as well as a couple of deaths, meant that they were not there to be able to grab the Baron themselves. But they've got a lot of minions pushing into this top lane.
Alright, then we got actually the team 1, actually the blue team right now. They're actually just pushing mid with all 5 guys, and you got Tristan Ocelot actually taking the red buff, so that's actually gonna help her out a lot in this one right now. They can actually get that team fight pulled to them. They'll actually do pretty good on this one right here. You got at least warning the dragon.
I don't know if she actually knew to jump to the dragon to start it and then just found the rest of purple team, but a nice tornado from Yasuo are going to stop 4 members of blue team from engaging. Shen's still chasing though, as the rest of 5 guys 1 bush already having grabbed Baron are now going to grab dragon. I think Elise just wanted to start dragon and then found purple team's members, Frackers, and decided to jump on them too, which was just good for her as they didn't have any wards over there at all. Clearing those top minions. Purple team did do a nice job of holding them off at least for a little bit, but there's Tristana pushing down to the mid lane, playing a little bit of that X-Peke. She grabbed 1 turret. Will it be enough to finish off? She did get that ult, knocking Elise back, but the taunt from Shen too strong, knocking her back. But that now means that blue team does not have any turrets in that mid lane, so anyone from purple team could just walk in and finish it off. LCS big plays indeed, says the Elise in game, as Tristana comes in and grabs the turret, and that means that there is an open nexus for 5 guys 1 bush.
If you didn't see them actually earlier, that actually was on bottom lane. You actually had Riven who sat in the bush and waited for him to come there and took out 2 people instantly. And Mayo barely got away on that one. But as you can see, he's back there down fighting Riven still. And look at that damage he's doing to him right now. He's not much he can do on that one.
Riven almost impossible to finish off when it gets towards this late game. She has the mobility to jump around with her little bunny hops, as well as just has crazy amounts of damage. She did play that waiting game. She once before was actually sitting in that bush and finished off Sona, and now doing it once again with the Sona and Yasuo, just continuing to expand her damage. She already has that Ravenous Hydra and Bloodthirster finish, so she's got that bonus health and just that incredible AoE damage. Little taunt from the Bullfrog onto Yasuo, but not going to be enough as Varus tries to throw out the ultimate to snare him, and he is able to just dash away from that one.
Oh yeah, Varus and everybody pushing in right now. And actually, you can see Soraka. Oh, Varus got the mid tower, but you actually see Soraka just sitting there, just throwing the bananas at it, just watch everybody fight right next to her. So good job on Soraka, just constantly poking at that turret.
Doing the best thing the support can, making sure to focus the right things. Yasuo once again in that bottom lane may go down to a Riven. She's really continuing to just push this tower little by little, letting the minions do damage and then just killing teammates as they coming out. That means that she's really just trying to play the... So I got distracted by the action here, right by red buff, as I was trying to finish what I was saying. Varus really got some nice... attacks off on the Tristana, the barrier coming out huge on his side of things to finish off the Tristana from Frackers. So another great kill for 5 guys 1 bush, and that meant that Tristana is not able to push in to grab either the inhibitor or the nexus, so she's really the only one who could push. But as I was trying to say, in the bottom lane, Riven's playing that, continuing to just pull members away from Frackers. They're not able to push down the mid lane, they're not able to make use of any of these things because they constantly have to go and deal with this Riven, who just has incredible sustain with that Hydra. She's actually 9-0 and still sitting on 3,000 gold. That is an infinity edge in and of itself, but she's going to stay in that bottom lane, continue to farm up champions and minions, and just draw Frackers away from the mid lane.
Alright, so we actually have blue team just sitting outside their turret now. Shin's actually going to try get him to go up top, so that way Riven can still keep on pushing bottom lane. But she's actually just staying down in the bottom lane, trying to keep on pushing that turret very slowly, but Mayokai is actually keeping her off for the most part.
Four members of purple team in the mid lane just trying to hold it off, but continuing to get poked. At this point in the game, blue team does actually have some pretty good poke between the Varus Qs and those Elise Cocoons and Spiderlings. It's just going to slowly eat away at purple team's health unless they make a huge play. Yasuo gets a nice knock up on Riven here, however, going to dodge the Cocoon as the rest of blue team comes into this bottom lane. Minions are even in the mid lane as neither team actually has an inhibitor down. So that lane is not going to be pushed very well. We'll see where this fight really goes. Shen does have his teleport up, so he can teleport to a fight. Look at all these wards from blue team all over purple team's base, so he can teleport to any one of those. However, being the purple team's base, Ryze could just run down there if a team fight does break out. Also, I gotta be careful here not to get caught out. She was outside of the base and in the jungle just a little bit. Not even warding, I guess, simply looking for an opportunity to grab, but gonna get snared by the Varus ultimate long range. Sona doing a good job keeping her alive, keeping that health on her as she's taking down about 1/3 health there. Another Cocoon from Elise, though. That follow-up from Riven might be enough, but no, they're gonna catch... Yeah, sorry, they're gonna catch Elise out. Shen teleporting in. He's gonna jump in, get a nice little bit of a... taunt on the rest of the team as the Yasuo actually is able to jump out of that crazy fight there. A lot of purple team members being taken very low health, but a nice snare from Maokai is going to keep Riven underneath the tower. Ryze coming in here. He has finally come here with the ultimate. Going to grab the shutdown on Riven, and is Sona picking up the kill on Elise. As the rest of the team comes in here, they've already back. They've got the health bag, and is actually Tristana healing up off of her lifesteal in the mid lane as Yasuo now chases in onto Sarek, grabbing up that kill from the Soraka, and now is continuing to chase purple team bloody, not bloody, but looking for blood. There we go, is what I'm trying to say. And having that movement speed from the Sona just can continue to move people very, very quickly.
We actually have just trying to take the middle inhibitor right now to actually get those super buff minions. Oh, and then actually Shen gets caught trying to teleport back down the base, but Tristana, she keeps on pushing.
Tristana,
and she's gonna take it. Look at right there, and then Ryze comes behind, making sure those minions actually did not kill her on that one.
If Shen finds her, that could be really bad for Tristana. There's those pings from blue team. Look at the pings all over the map. Tristana actually using a lifesteal to heal off of those wolves, jumping off to the side. Shen knows he's very little health. However, he could kill Ocelot. Demi Loki not going to find Shen. Shen going to back off. Tristana going to back off. They're going to be healthy, but now purple team's taking Dragon. Is there a little bit of a delay between what I'm saying and what you're hearing? Because there's a bit of like a 4-second pause between when I stop talking and when you do start.
Yeah, it's a little bit of delay on my end right here. It's probably because due to my internet connection, Comcast decided to do what they want to do, but maybe they're actually taking the blue right there. But yeah, there is a 4-second delay on mine. I've noticed it. You'll say something when they just took Dragon, and once you say it, I'll see it a few seconds later. So it's a little lag, but I'll make sure I keep up. So I've been switching back and forth between the live stream and the game.
I was going to say, don't worry about, if it makes it easier for you, don't worry about the stream. Don't even have the actual stream up, because that's probably eating up your connection a little bit. Don't even worry about having the stream up. Just have the game and Skype, because I know Skype eats up connection pretty badly. I've got really good connection. I actually pay for some pretty stinking good internet, so I can kind of run the stream, run the game, and run the Skype all at the same time. But if you're having some lag issues, just close out of the stream completely. I'll run comments, and if somebody asks you a specific question or something, then I'll run it by you and let you know about it. But generally, I just don't even worry about the stream, man. Also, what for you is the seconds right now for you? Just count the seconds for me really fast.
45, 46, 47, 48, 49.
Okay, so we're generally running the same time, 33 minutes and 53 seconds at the moment. So we're generally...
I just actually shut the stream and actually picked back up. So
there we
once I
go.
shut the stream down, it let it catch up for me.
Yeah, don't worry about having the stream. I've got the dual monitors, but I can just kind of glance my eyes over to read the comments, pretty sure. So it's not a problem at all. If the stream or the chat does get crazy, I'll let you know. But generally, most basic information, I've got some moderators who are able to be on, and they kind of clear up questions that people say. And then on top of that, if people direct questions directly at me, or now that you're added in, if they direct it at you, I'll let you know. So make sure that the video is caught up completely, and that way you know exactly what's going on, because that's what really matters most. But now 18 kills to 11. Blue team, team 5 guys, 1 bush, very strongly in the lead, but they have no Nexus towers. What is it that you think Meta Frackers has to do to be able to finish off the game, as they're really down in kills and gold? They're pretty bad off. The only thing that they've really got looking for them at the moment is that there is that open Nexus for 5 guys, 1 bush.
Like, what I've noticed with actually, as you see, they're all spread out. Everybody on the other team, on blue team, they actually group together, make sure they're running the mid lane, push it together. But as you can see with Mother Frackers, they actually are spread out most of the time. So with that middle turret and middle inhibitor being gone, it's still not going to do much for them, since they're actually not grouping the whole time like the other team is.
Yeah, as the blue team comes in, they're going to be trying to grab this Baron. They did get the last Baron, so this would be the second Baron if they picked it up. They've also been able to grab 3 dragons in comparison to Metafracker's 1. Maokai here going to see if he can stop it. However, Metafrackers definitely need to be able to push down the mid lane and grab that. It is Tristana making her way there, but that means that this teamfight's going to be really, really messy as Baron gets really close to going down. That is Maokai actually jumping over, trying to outsmite the Baron, but the rest of Metafrackers coming in huge. There's that snare from Yasuo, the snare from, Varus, there we go. As Yasuo flashes to try to escape it. However, Riven and Shen both coming in here going to stop Tristana from being able to grab the Nexus. She did finish off the inhibitor once again. Yasuo getting good damage on a Spartan as Ryze and Sona also show up to help out. Really sometimes get my tongue tied there as Yasuo and Varus got these names kind of mixed. Huge damage on the Sona. Varus just destroying her. There's that teleport from Shen though. The low health from Yasuo. The heal from Sona saves him. DP helps actually escaping due to the last second heal from Sona. But that means that there's a lot of members of purple team in the base of blue team. Riven being snared both by Ryze and Maokai. She turns onto Tristana trying to kill her before they can finish off the tower. Maokai just continuing to plod away on the tower, but not going to be enough. Blue team once again holding off the base. Varus coming in here doing lots of damage to Salty Tree. That tree's trying to leaf as fast as he can, but the stun from Jared not going to be enough to keep him from escaping, and he's going to go down. That is a lot of members of purple team that just got, that did not get Baron, going down regardless. But they are really desperately trying to get this Nexus.
They make sure that Tristana comes around and keeps them busy. That was actually a good push on them by that, but blue team just came right back and actually pushed pretty hard. They're actually making sure they're keeping him out of the base right now.
A nice job from Shen being all over the map all at once, using nice taunts to keep Tristana from being able to push in, as well as helping out the rest of the teammates in other fights. Just being crazy. This is the power of Home Guard with that rapid healing, as well as being able to rush out of the base. Makes it so hard to finish off the Nexus. Do you think that purple needs, Team Meta Frackers needs to be able to split push and distract and allow Tristana to get in there? Or since that hasn't really worked the last 2 times that she's tried it, do they need to just all 5-man push down the mid lane, force the fight to happen at the Nexus, and see if they can finish it off?
Their best bet, honestly, is to push down mid lane and actually get the fight to happen for the Nexus. If they try to split push with Tristana, it's failed every single time so far. They can probably keep on trying it since she can get there pretty quickly, but they're just going to come right back and stop her and get them caught off guard and push right along with them.
I agree with you, but it could be an end game if purple team does happen to go down and a lot of members of purple team die in the fight around Nexus and they don't finish off the Nexus. Blue team should be able to then just walk in and take off the turret, or take the turret off of Metafracker's hands. They did get their second dragon of the game, so they got a little more gold in their pockets, as they also have these super minions pushing down the mid lane. They've done a great job of keeping the fight on 5 guys 1 bush's side, so that way they are forced to continue to defend the base. They never really have an opportunity to push. We'll see if they decide to just force it down the mid lane, all 5 men, or if they decide to split push. It looks like they're going for the full 5 man.
Everyone's like, we actually have Shen up top, but he's actually heading back to base to make sure he gets the team right there. That was an actually nice win wall by Yasuo. There goes the ult by actually Vars to make sure Red is actually still in the middle, but he barely skips on using his flash. Shen teleported in down on actually Riven.
Tristana leaping over the sidelines, going to be able to stay alive. That is at least going to finish off Yasuo, a very huge powerhouse for purple team. As Ryze also goes down, Tristana's waiting just over the wall, but I think there's a ward there. Blue team has a ward, so they know she's there. But that Tristana really needs to live, as she is the main reason why blue team is still alive. No, is she going to be cut out? They have a ward in there, but they're not going for her? What is this? Vars decides that they're just going to instead push down the mid lane. They're 5-man strong. They don't think that Tristana can actually get into the tower. Maybe they're simply baiting her. There's all of the recalls from the rest of the team. Could Tristana finish off the Nexus? What are they doing? They stopped to fight Sona. They didn't pay attention. They had a ward in the bush. Tristana's attack speed might be enough to finish off the base. There's the cocoon, though. She doesn't dodge the cocoon, and Elise helps in the kill. Vars picks it up, but that means there's only one man for purple team alive, and that is Maokai. Can he defend this tower?
We actually got in 9 seconds. Yasuo and Raz will be up. They'll actually be able to get there, but looks like they're just going to push that tower anyways and actually try getting it.
So they have successfully grabbed this tower, should be able to grab without a problem, as the huge and healthy Bullfrog, just so much health coming in here. Yasuo and Ryze may be able to stop the run from pushing in to get the Nexus. That's a nice snare from Maokai, going to get a little bit of damage with Ryze's help onto Riven. The massive amount of shield, so that's a nice ultimate from Yasuo, but everyone on blue team going to turn around and just destroy him. Shen actually picking up that kill, as you went to Jared, now turning on to Salty Tree, knocking his health down to half health. That is a tanky tree, but not tanky enough with a 5-item Riven, just doing so much damage. Not even 6 items yet. That is very scary, as they now take a second inhibitor. They're going to have a lot of minions pushing into purple team's base. There's Shen with a nice taunt going right underneath the towers, not even caring. Sona gets a full 5-man ultimate, forcing the flash out of several members of purple team. Riven turning around, though. Tristana picking up a kill on Varus. Ryze actually picks up a kill as well on Shen. Now they're turning around. They have popped the Guardian's Angel onto Riven. Jared trying to get in, taking the ring all the way to Riven, proposing the ring to, oh my gosh, that would have been a great joke if it had actually finished going through. What the crap is that character's name? That is Ryze. I was trying to say Riven taking the ring to Jared and proposing to Ryze, but not going to be able to finish it off. Ryze shuts her down and says no. What a great joke, completely destroyed by the fact that I forgot Ryze's name. This is what happens when I get tongue-tied. Ugh.
We actually have 4 people on blue team, actually team Motherfracker. They actually have their guys up, but we actually have Elise with actually the barrier right now. So that's actually good on that. That can actually save her from Sona's ultimate and keep her alive to actually be able more ability to take out their ADCs.
Purple team, having finished off several members of blue team with very long timers, decided to push in, grabbing yet another inhibitor, but a nice job from Shen is going to lock down Tristana once again, finishing her off. She is now at 7 deaths and counting as she continues to just get shut down very quickly. Ryze getting a nice snare off on Shen. Will that be enough to stop the ninja from taunting him? He just barely misses. The speed up from Soraka and Elise trying to catch in on him. Gets the silence. There's the cocoon. It doesn't land, or it does land despite the wind wall. Wind wall just a little bit too far behind. That is going to be Ryze going down. Sarek picking up that kill.
Oh, we actually have purple team return back to base, make sure to get all the health. We actually have 4 members of blue team actually push him in, and there actually comes Elise back behind him. And if they actually do this, they actually can push and actually take this. But we got actually Maokai can actually stop in the tracks and actually Sona with their ult still. So this can actually go any way.
These teams very back and forth. A little bit of bad news, though, for Frackers. They're pretty low health. A nice Sona ultimate onto both Riven and Elise. Going to stop them in their tracks. However, Sona flashing to safety. And that is only Maokai right there next to, in between the turrets, trying to keep himself alive. Tristana with a lot of damage. That should be Shen going down. The tower's enough to finish him off. Tristana picking up the kill on Shen and now turning it around, looking for some more kills. That is both towers going down. Both Nexuses are open for both teams as they continue to battle back and forth straight down this mid lane. Blue team does have a slight advantage as Shen has his teleport, but look at the dashes from Yasuo coming in, getting the knock up onto Varus. That is a kill as well. The AD is down for blue team, dashing to safety as the rest of purple team now pushes in for Elise, but gonna have to back off as the minion waves are just gonna get crazy here in a moment.
Nice actually knock up. There's the wind wall that Justice trying to knock it up so they actually get the damage done. Returning back to base, make sure he doesn't actually get killed on this one, but actually the purple team going back and blue team heading back to their bases.
So both teams once again headed back to their respective bases, pushing out the minion waves as they're pushing in. Blue team had a little bit of a heavy push, but now purple team going to be the same wave as well. And Baron is up. Both of these teams once again have those nexuses open. Inhibitors are down. Sona is staying back, playing a little bit defensively, trying to keep these minions off of the inhibitor. Purple team did just get their inhibitor back up, so Frackers is at a slight advantage as they will be still pouring out those super minions despite, Blue team, 5 guys, 1 bush will not, but this is now purple team. This will be the first Baron if they pick it up for them. Blue team already has 2. The damage from Riven so much. Purple team trying to make a big play, grabbing the Baron, but not going to be enough. Riven picking up 2 kills. Maokai's Smite not going to be... Oh, he does! He grabs the Smite kill and finishes it off. The Baron going over to purple team. Frackers picking it up as the rest of blue team now 4-man strong, pushing in. 5-man strong. However, Vars is back at the base defending it. Yasuo and Sona, the only 2 people alive. Can they hold off against the 4 members of 5 guys, 1 bush?
The other thing, actually, the inhibitor right in the middle right now. They actually, if they do this, they can push really hard, and they're actually going to take it. They're pushing it right now. Honestly,
several members of 5 guys, 1 bush are actually walked away from that inhibitor, thinking that they were all going to finish it off, but nobody doing that last hit. Yasuo doing his best to defend the Nexus, trying to finish it off and get the kill, or at least hold them off long enough for the rest of his team to come up. Not going to be enough. 4-man strong, 5 guys, 1 bush. What a crazy, crazy game beginning to end. That was insane. Great plays by both teams. Huge on the Tristana, trying to backdoor and push in on the Nexus. Never actually very successful with it, with the rest of the team trying to come through. But a huge, huge try for it nonetheless. What a great game. Live long! 1 bush, live long. Very, very good game. That was crazy. That's going to be the last Shoutcast game for the night. Sorry, guys, I can't do another one as it is really late, and I have work today because it is 1 a.m. my time. However, that was an incredible game. The game will be available on YouTube, hopefully tomorrow. I should be able to get it up. You can find me on YouTube at www.youtube.com/user/thatshoutcast guy. Basically, just search That Shoutcast Guy on YouTube.